M
X.
I've just got my hands on this. It's a junior computer by Team Concepts, and there's not much information about these kind of children's pseudo computers available online. So I thought it would be great to make a video that documents this device, goes through the various software features that it has, and then take it apart and have a look at what chips drive the machine. The computer has built-in software that it runs, but it also has these expansion cartridges that you can get for it. This one's a RAM memory cartridge. You use this, I believe, to store little pixel drawings that you do on the machine. And this one is some kind of storybook. I'm not really sure exactly what it is. We'll have a look at it. I've also got the instructions that go with the machine and a few other little bits of documentation about the various activities that you can do on it. So it'll be interesting to see how they hold up. The computer takes C-sized batteries, which is not something I've touched or used for a very long time. And when I turned it on for the first time, it wouldn't start. And I suspected that it was probably corroded battery contacts and that there was just no current getting through into the device. And that suspicion turned out to be correct. So it's working now. I kind of fixed it up a little bit and we can turn it on and hear the marvel of a speaking computer.
Choose a game, please.
It's fantastic. So the first thing it asks you to do is to pick one of these games, and it has a whole bunch that you can choose from. All of them are kind of like vaguely educational little puzzle games, it seems. So you can do spelling games and you can do maths games, and some of them are even 2 players. There's one here called Save a Tune, which sounds particularly interesting to me, so let's try that one first. Okay, it says create your music here on the screen, and it just is staying on that. So I imagine that it's to do with the keyboard, and I can see down here it's got T, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Maybe these are the keys for making music? Okay, so it's clearly got the prowess of some kind of magic synthesizer. I wonder if I click any of the... Okay, the letters don't do anything, so... Oh, how fun. Okay, great.
Choose a game, please.
All right. So beginning with is presumably some kind of spelling thing. Okay, there's a picture of a candle.
What is it?
What is it? Is it an andle? Is it a handle? Is it a handle? Maybe it's a handle. I'll push H and see.
H. No. Try again.
No, it's not a handle. Could it be Randall, my friend from primary
R.
school?
No. Try again.
No. Okay, of course it's a candle.
What is it? C. Candle. Very good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, now
What
this...
is
How cute. Is it a wow?
W. No. Try again. What is it? C. Cow. Very good. Thank you.
Fantastic. Missing letter. I imagine this will be very similar.
What is it? B. O. Robot. Very good. Thank you.
Robot.
What is it?
I wonder if the computer can say any arbitrary word through its speech synthesis, like the words actually constructed based upon the syllables, or if there's kind of like pre-programmed words that it can say that it's just recovering from the ROM. So it knows how to say robot, it knows how to say bicycle, or if it's possible programmatically to have it say anything. That would be an interesting question for the data sheet later on. There's one on here called the Matrix, or just called Matrix, which to me sounds like if I press that, maybe I'll be able to get out of this place. So let's have a look. it says create your picture. It's a drawing application. So there's a little flashing cursor. Oh, yes, got a line going. I wonder if I can manage a square. Oh, it's going to be a rectangle. Ah, how fun. So it's cool. He's got like a little picture thing where you can draw arbitrary little pictures on here. Let's make it a battery. Oh. Cool, little drawing of a battery. I think that the music game and the drawing game already make this like a pretty fun device for a little kid to play around with. And not to mention that very cute picture of a cow that we saw earlier. Puzzle. Ah, cool graphics. Really knows how to belt out a tune, this thing, doesn't it? Oh, it's one of those puzzles where you move the squares around to make a picture. You don't actually get to just like arbitrarily pick the individual pieces. You have to like slide the squares around. Very cool, very cool. What is redo?
Follow me.
Oh, okay.
No. Try again.
No.
Follow me.
It's quite stern, this computer, as a parent, you know, teaching a child how to become a musical genius, or at least try and beat some talent into the child. If you get it wrong, very stern. No room for creativity in this mode.
No. Try again. Follow me. No. Try again. Follow me. No. Try again. Follow me.
No, I thought mine was better.
No. Try again. Follow me.
Fine.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Follow me.
Oh.
Very good. Thank you. Follow me. Very good. Thank you.
Got a score there of 7. Oh.
No. Try again.
Oh, you know what? I don't even care. I don't even care about this.
Choose a game, please.
Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. I don't want to be too ambitious. For example, I definitely don't want to do multiplication because I never learned my times tables as a kid. So I might just begin with addition. Subtraction can be a little hairy sometimes. Or what's my level of addition? I'm going to say level 1. I mean, I'm new to this, so I'll just say level 1. 2 plus 3. Okay, if you think you've got this one, put it in the comments. The answer to this one. I'm a bit stuck on that one. Maybe nothing?
0. No. Try again.
Okay, yep. Okay, let's try Maths Whiz. Gonna go for level 1.
1.
Wow, so this one actually asks you to put the operator in. Is it is this a multiplication problem, or is this a addition problem? I think this is a multiplication problem.
Times. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Or what plus 2 equals 20?
1. 8. No. Try again.
Oh, I see. It's asking you to put it in the in the order that it would be written in to the equation. All right. It's going from right to left.
8. 1. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, to be fair, you would have to be a whiz to get that on the first try to know that it works that way. Okay, so I've had a look at the instruction manual, and you can see here that the log on button is actually for the animation application, and you use it to save frames, duplicate frames, and then you can make animated sequences in that animation application, which makes sense based upon its name. Oh, I think it's going to turn itself off. I think it's sick of me. It's very, like, it's like a cat. If you don't give it attention, it just starts beeping at you. It's a sad little friend, this computer. Okay, and we've got some pretty instructions there about how the RAM memory cartridge works, and it does mention the batteries here. I feel that probably I can't get it to work at the moment because it doesn't have the batteries. That may be incorrect. But yeah, I haven't been able to save something visibly or open something on the cartridge yet. So that's an interesting note. I think it might be a good time to have a look at this Rom Activity Cartridge. I've got a Message Man. So I've got the cartridge here, and I've got the accompanying storybook that goes with the cartridge. What a cool dude. So I feel like there's these words that are bold in the book, and probably that has to do with the interaction that will occur based upon the cartridge, or these are words that are added to the computer's vocabulary so that then later on you're asked to spell those words. I will say that I love the design of this thing. It's got such a great kind of retro technology aesthetic, and I love the design of these cartridges when they're sticking out of the screen. It's like, okay, you've got this computer, it's powerful, but then you've got these cartridges. What are they? They're more power, and look at them, the heft of the power that they add to the machine is extremely satisfying, as well as this kind of design, like the fact that there's two of them. Very cool. Okay, so no dice, the ROM isn't working for some reason. I think I'll probably move on now, but one thing that I'm sad about with this computer is that there's no mode where you can just type arbitrary sentences in and just get every letter, like get a clear recording of every letter, because I would have loved to sample the sound of these notes and actually get, you know, a clean library of what the junior computer sounds like so I can use it for fun things in the future. And it would have been so good if there was just like a text mode, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, so now I think it's time to actually take the computer apart and see how it ticks. I'm really interested in seeing like what kind of processors, or really what kind of integrated circuits go into building a pseudo computer like this. Like, I don't imagine that it has like a fully fledged microprocessor in there, because it's such a primitive machine. You know, it's closer to a calculator than a computer, but it would be really interesting to see what they use. And also I'm very curious about the chip that powers the speech synthesis and how that works. So let's see if we can get a look at what chip that is, and also pull up the data sheet and have a little bit of an idea of somewhere to go to look if you're interested in how a chip like that might work. Okay, so let's take it apart and see what makes it tick. All right, there's the membrane keyboard. Looks great from behind. You can see here there's a little bit of alfoil in here, which I just stuck in before to get a bit of a better contact on the battery there, because it wasn't turning on. Got a couple of really brittle power wires that run through to the screen. And if I lift that up, the keyboard there, you can see there's the screen below. So all the actual like main logic of the machine is in the top half of the case, which is what I suspected. So I'll desolder these wires. I'll take this screw out here on the hinge, and then I'll open up the top of the case. Okay, so there we have some of the logic that powers the computer. We've got the cartridge headers here, and I had a look. This here, the TMS50C42N2S, is the speech synthesis chip that actually powers this computer. So that's great to see. Very cool. This chip I couldn't find online, so I imagine it's some kind of support chip for the speech synthesis chip, but I'm not, that's pure speculation. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but couldn't find it online. Incidentally, I did find the data sheet for the speech synthesis chip, and it's really cool. It's got like very detailed instructions about how to actually, run that chip. And of course, they're Texas Instruments chips. I don't know if I mentioned that, and you can tell it's pretty self-evident because they're branded. I do see an 8822 here, which makes me feel like perhaps this chip was manufactured in the 22nd week of 1988, which would give us the answer to the question of when this computer is from, how old is it? And late 80s, early 90s feels about right for the sophistication of this machine, or the level of sophistication. Some might see it as a lack of sophistication, but it's pretty cool. So this is the 22nd week of 1988, and this is the 26th week of 1988, I think. And it'll be interesting to see how these boards actually come apart. There's at least two boards with a piece of cardboard separating them to insulate them. So yeah, I'm not sure how tricky or not tricky this process is going to be. Okay, I can just get to the screws under here, and it does look like there are a couple more processors on this board. Okay, so this chip here is the chip for driving the LCD. Makes total sense. It's by Hitachi. And there's another chip underneath the LCD. I managed to kind of get, maneuver into an awkward position and shine a light through here underneath the LCD, and then I could look at the reflection of the top of the chip on the glass back of the LCD, and I could see that actually there's no label on the package for the chip. So it's actually unclear what that chip is. I'm not really sure, unfortunately. But I'm glad I didn't take the screen off, because that would have been one tremendous anticlimax if I had. So here's the backs of the board, just for anybody who wants to see the complete picture. I've put it back together and it's working.
Choose a game, please.
So now what I'd like to do is have a look inside the RAM card and the ROM card. All right, we'll start with the RAM cartridge. Be interesting to see what's in here. I assume it's basically just a bare board with a header and some RAM. A RAM chip, I should say. Okay, so it's a Hyundai chip. You can see the battery terminals there. Hyundai H6116AP10. I'll look that up in a second. And 49th week of 1988, perhaps. So maybe this computer was manufactured in 1989, like me. Okay, so there's the data sheet for that chip. A high-speed, low-power, 2K, 8-bit CMOS static RAM chip. Oh, it's made in the twin-tub CMOS process, and it's highly reliable, apparently, according to this data sheet. Great to see that. Okay, I've got a message, man. Let's have a look at the ROM cartridge here. Let's see what that message is. I feel like this is going to look much the same as the RAM cartridge that we just had a look at. Oh, look at that. So that has one little ROM chip in there. It's a Texas Instruments chip. It is a CMM19009N. And this says it looks like the 13th week of 1989. So it is looking... Well, actually, you know, these cartridges could have been manufactured at a different time to the computer, of course. So this is the 49th week of 88 on the connector here. So I feel like an 88, 89 computer. Well, we may not have quite mastered the alphabet, but we have learnt a bunch of cool things about this little pseudo computer, the Junior Computer by Team Solutions. Thanks for joining me on this journey and learning with me as we tore the machine down. It was a lot of fun. If you've enjoyed it, I'm super stoked. Please leave a comment below and subscribe if you'd love to see more kind of obscure or undocumented technology brought to light.
M-A-X